Thursday, which means Pro Day Dirt is back for round 19. There are still 12 rounds to go, so you can't make any conclusions about the table yet, but we are starting to kind of see it take shape. But let's get into these predictions, because a few really intriguing games, kind of some of the mid-tabling, weaker teams against some of the big boys, as it were. However, the first game up, and if you're in the UK and Ireland, on Thursday evening, you can watch this live and free with our friends over at FRUK on YouTube. Oyonnax versus Van, the two sides that have come down from the top 14 most recently. So we know it's going to be a big clash. There are two big forward packs. It's not perhaps going to be the free-flowing, loose rugby that you might expect from a Pro Day Dirt game. This is two sides that are generally very pragmatic. We had Zach Holmes of Oyonnax on our podcast a couple of weeks ago. Check out that interview if you haven't already, but he talked about how the fans have generally been slightly frustrated about their more pragmatic approach. They have, however, started to pick up wins last week against Soy-en-Galem. They outmuscled them and got into the right areas, and Angoulême, they kind of just pinned them in their own half and picked up points steadily, which is no bad way to go about it. They do have Justin Buru coming back in at fly half, youngster who has been their main man, the second highest point scorer in the league, so he will kick a lot of goals. He's a very good kicker, as is Maxime Lafarge in his 100th appearance for Van, which is a phenomenal effort. But let's look at these teams, because Oyonnax have gone really, really strong. That is their first choice halfbacks, Jonathan Ruru and Justin Buru, even though they do have two international Georgians in their squad, one of which, Vasil Lobjanidze, 86 caps of Georgia, is on the bench. And generally, amazingly, he's actually second choice. The return of Danny Tuala on the bench is also really cool from an Oyonnax perspective. Really looking forward to getting a look at Louis Morland, good outside centre, youngster, I think he's 21, been really impressive this season, can't wait to see more of him. That pack is really quite big. You've got some proper experience in that front row with Vivas and Karl Kadza, and you've got Lindekar, the Uruguayan captain, coming off the bench. Van, by comparison, are slightly weaker in the front row, so they've gone the big old head of Paga Tafili, 38-year-old, but there is no Dave Cherry, there is no Mako Vinopola, and Hayam El Bibuji is on his first start, so he's slightly weaker in that Van front row, but they've got the really experienced second row pairing, and the back row is really high quality, especially in Pro Day Dirt, and plenty of experience. Quite an old side from Van. You can see there Michael Ruru up against Jonathan Ruru in their careers in France. They are finally, for the first time, playing against each other. They've yo-yoed and kept missing each other in terms of top 14 and Pro Day Dirt. They finally come up against each other. Francis Saili in the centre is a key player for them. He can make all the difference. But it's going to be physical, it's going to be gritty. There's not going to be that much kind of running rugby, I don't think. They've slightly changed up wingers. Robin Takola is a brilliant centre. It's his first appearance on the wing ever, from what I can tell, in professional rugby. So plenty going on. I think probably Oyonnax have got the strongest side this week. Van have changed it up a bit. So we're backing Oyonnax in that. But let us know what you think. If you've got any questions, get in the comments. But remember, you can watch it live and free on FRUK on YouTube if you're in the UK and Ireland. We're split on quite a few in these predictions, and Aurillac versus Valence is one we're split on. Rich is going for Aurillac. Horrible place to go at this time of year with the weather and the hill and the cold and everything. I'm going for Valence Romans. They've just got a stronger pack, and I think that could be enough away at Aurillac. We're both going for Béziers at home for Dax. That's quite a big one in the relegation battle, but Béziers have got a really good home, well, comparatively quite good home record. Dax have struggled a little bit away, even though they have found some form in the last couple of months. Colomiers versus Angoulême. Colomiers got a fantastic win away at Agen last week. Rich is going for them. I'm going for Angoulême in that one because I'm going to back our boys Sax V. There's no Valentin Delpy for Colomiers, and it's just a sort of game that Soy-en-Galem win. A bit of a fast and open game that might suit them. Just feel like they could pick up the away win there, but big call from me on that one. The bookies do not fancy Angoulême. We're also going a little bit batty by going Mont-de-Marsan against Brive. Mont-de-Marsan, they got their first points on the road last week. They have picked up some huge wins at home against some of the really big budget sides. We're backing them to do it again against Brive because Brive don't always travel that well. Agen have got a strong home record and Nevers have got a dreadful away record, so we are going for Agen in that one. Carcassonne, can they do it at home? Can they topple one of the big boys at home like Mont-de-Marsan have done their relegation rivals? Carcassonne, hard to see them getting a win against Provence because Provence are looking so strong at the moment. Their team is looking absolutely phenomenal. Biarritz, at home to Grenoble in the final game of the round. Grenoble, they really need to start picking up some wins. Rich is going for them. They had a positive-ish performance last week at home to Vannes, even though they lost, but they're getting there to the kind of heights that we know they can. I'm going for Biarritz. They've got a good home record. Quite a long way to go as well for Grenoble in that one. Plenty going on in Pro D2. If you've got any questions on any of this, get in touch in the comments. Give us a shout. Let us know what you think. But enjoy Pro D2 round 19 and catch that Oyonnax game on FR UK.